You earn enough to survive, never quite enough to relax. Every month is a tightrope. The money comes in, and before you have taken a breath, it is already gone, spoken for, swallowed by rent and bills and the small things you do not even remember buying. One unexpected expense, a broken boiler, a car repair, and the whole month tips over. And somewhere underneath it all, you have started to believe a quiet, dangerous idea that if you just earned a little more, this would stop. That somewhere above your current income, there is a line, and the moment you cross it, the stress dissolves and the wealth finally begins. You have been told this your whole life. Work hard, play by the rules, keep your head down, and it will all work out. So you did. And the balance did not move. Here is what no one told you. The machine around you is built to take it. The adverts, the easy finance, the upgrade that lands the exact month you can almost afford it. None of it is an accident. The system is not on your side, and it was never designed to be. It profits when you spend, and it profits more when you borrow. That is the real reason a bigger salary has never made you rich. Not your discipline, not your income. The design you have been living inside without ever seeing it. In the next 20 minutes, you will see that design clearly, and you will learn the 7 rules that take the control back. 500 years ago, a Florentine named Niccolo Machiavelli wrote the coldest, clearest book on power ever put to paper. He was not writing about money. He was writing about how a ruler holds a state, keeps a treasury, and survives the forces trying to take both. It maps onto your finances exactly. Machiavelli drew one line that sits underneath everything that follows. On one side, Fortuna, fortune. The money that arrives by luck and circumstance, the salary someone else decided to pay you. On the other side, virtu. Not virtue in the moral sense, capability. The disciplined power to act, to prepare, to build something that holds when the weather turns. Income is Fortuna. It comes and it goes, and you do not finally control it. Control is virtue. And the person with virtue over a small income holds more real power than the person whose large income has power over them. That is the whole game. You do not earn your way out of scarcity. You design your way out. 7 rules build the design. The first rule is the oldest one, and almost no one actually does it. Pay yourself first. Here is what that means. The day your money lands, before a single bill is paid, before the rent, before the world takes its share, a fixed amount moves out of your reach and into an account that is yours. Not what is left at the end of the month, the first cut, off the top, every time. Almost everyone runs it the other way around. The income arrives and goes straight back out to the world. Rent, bills, subscriptions, the round at the bar, the upgrade that felt deserved. And then, if anything survives, they save whatever is left. There is never anything left. The month is built to make sure of it. Machiavelli understood the principle, even though he wrote it about princes. He argued that a ruler should be willing to be thought a miser, because the one who spends to look generous drains his treasury, and a ruler with an empty treasury has only 2 moves left: tax his people until they hate him, or fall. The one who holds his resources stays free. His restraint is the thing that makes him sovereign. Your treasury is no different. Pay it first, or it never fills. Warren Buffett, who started buying shares as a child, later reduced the whole rule to one line: do not save what is left after you spend. Spend what is left after you save. I know the objection, because everyone makes it. $50 a month will not make me rich. You are right, it will not. But you have misread what the $50 is for. It is not the engine of your wealth. It is proof that you, and not the world, decide where your money goes first. The amount is small on purpose. The habit it installs is not. Whoever can take the first cut at $50 will take it at $500. Whoever waits for the surplus waits forever. This is the founding act of every fortune, not a windfall. A decision, made first, every single month, that your future has a prior claim on your money before your present is allowed to touch it. Pay yourself first, or stay broke on every salary you will ever earn. You cannot control money you refuse to look at. Most people do not look at their own spending. They feel it, a vague sense of being short, a vague sense of where it goes, and a refusal to see the actual numbers. because the numbers might say something they do not want to hear. Picture a Thursday night. You are tired. You did not plan dinner, so you open the app. The meal is $12, then a delivery fee, then a service charge, then a tip, and the whole thing is $22. And it did not feel like a decision. It felt like breathing. Friday, the same. Sunday, worse. None of it registered. Then the statement lands at the end of the month, and the total is a number you would have sworn was impossible. You thought maybe $80. It was $400, and it is never only the food. It is the subscription you stopped using and kept paying. The free trial that quietly became a charge. The upgrade that renewed at full price while you were not looking. None of it feels like a wound. That is the point. The system does not take your money in one visible blow. It takes it in 100 small ones, each too small to notice, every one of them designed to slip straight past you. Machiavelli warned about exactly this. He said, trouble seen early, while it is still small, is easy to cure. Left unseen, because no one was watching, it grows until everyone can see it, and by then, there is no remedy. That foresight, he said, belongs only to the one who looks. John D. Rockefeller built the largest fortune of his age while watching every cent. As a young clerk, he kept a small book he called Ledger A, recording every receipt and every expense to the penny, and he never stopped, not when he ran Standard Oil and not when he was the richest man alive. The habit came long before the fortune. So you look, not with shame, with command, every dollar tracked in an app, a spreadsheet, a notebook, the tool does not matter. The moment you see your spending written down, you can no longer lie to yourself, and the pattern shows. A pattern you can see is a pattern you can govern. The money does not vanish. It escapes. You cannot govern ground you will not look at. The system has trained you to broadcast a level of wealth you have not built yet. The car that says you have arrived, the watch, the flat in the right postcode, the holiday photographed for people who do not care. Every one of these is a signal, and every signal is paid for out of the surplus that was supposed to set you free. Here is the trap in its cleanest form. Rich people are often invisible. The one with the 10-year-old car, no debt, and a quietly growing account holds more power than the one a tier above, drowning in the payments on a leased version of a life they cannot afford. One is free. The other is performing freedom, on credit, for an audience that will not catch them when they fall. Machiavelli buried a second blade in that chapter on the miser. The ruler content to be thought mean is the one who ends up appearing generous in the end, because his restraint means he never has to take from anyone. The display of wealth, he warned, consumes the very wealth it displays. Marcus Aurelius, writing privately to himself in a military tent, kept returning to a single discipline. The body's true needs are few. Most of what we chase is appetite dressed up as necessity, and appetite has no ceiling. The one who cannot tell the difference between what they need and what they have been trained to want will never have enough, at any income, because the target moves every time they reach it. Warren Buffett has run one of the largest fortunes on earth from the same ordinary house in Omaha he bought in 1958. He could own anything. For decades, he has chosen margin over signal and the freedom that margin buys. To live below the signal is not to live in misery, it is to build margin. And margin is the most underrated power there is. Margin is options. The freedom to say no, to walk away, to wait, to take the risk that finally pays. The one with no margin takes the first offer because they have to. The one with margin chooses because they can. You do not show your strength. You build it quietly while the world spends its strength proving it has any. The display of wealth consumes the wealth it displays. Live below the signal and keep the strength. Poor math and rich math ask different questions, and the question decides the outcome. Poor math asks, can I afford the monthly payment? Rich math asks, what will this cost me over my whole life? The car is not the sticker price. It is the payment times the months, plus the interest, plus the money that same payment could have become if you had owned something with it instead. In poor math, it is affordable. In rich math, it is a slow transfer of your future to a stranger. Most people budget from the bottom up. Rent, bills, food, lifestyle. And then, if anything survives, savings. That is survival math. It puts your wealth last, which means it never happens. Rich math flips the order. Needs first. Then wealth, paid like a fixed bill, the same way you paid yourself first in Rule 1. Then wants, from whatever remains. There is a well-known starting point. 50% to needs, 30% to wants, 20% to wealth. Real progress begins when you push it further. 60% to needs, 30% to wealth, 10% to wants. Now you are on a fence. This is not restriction, it is intention. You are not cutting back on your life. You are cutting out the leaks that were quietly funding someone else's. Machiavelli had no respect for the ruler who reacted to events instead of preparing for them. Fortune, he said, favors the one who makes provision, not the one who hopes. Rich math is preparation wearing the clothes of arithmetic. It is you deciding, in advance and in cold numbers, that freedom later is worth more than comfort now. It always is. Poor math asks what a thing costs today. Rich math asks what it cost your whole life. Only one of them sets you free. Those were the first 4 rules, and they all do the same work. They decide how you hold and direct the money already passing through your hands. Pay yourself first, see every dollar, refuse the signal, do the cold arithmetic. That is the defense, and it stops the leaking. But defense alone has never made anyone wealthy. The next 3 rules are how a small income overtakes a large one. They are also the 3 the system fights hardest to keep you from reaching. This is the heart of it. Machiavelli spent 2 whole chapters of his book circling one obsession, where your power actually comes from. He despised mercenary armies. Soldiers you rent, he wrote, are useless and dangerous because they fight for the pay and not for you. On the day you most need them, they leave. A ruler who builds his state on rented force will never stand firm or secure. The only foundation that holds is arms of your own. Now look at how you are paid. A salary is a rented army. It fights for you only while the pay continues. Stop showing up and it deserts you inside the week. It can be cut by a person you have never met, in a meeting you are not invited to. It is mercenary force, and Machiavelli told you exactly how secure anyone is who stands on it. Not at all. There are 3 kinds of income, and most people are only ever shown the first. The first is rented. You sell your hours and you are paid for them, and when the hours stop, the money stops. The salary, the shift, the one-off job, income that dies the moment you do. The second is borrowed. Income that depends on another person continuing to choose you. The client who can leave. The platform that can change its rules overnight. Better than rented, because it can grow past your hours, but still not yours, because the ground it stands on belongs to someone else. The third is owned. A thing you control that produces value whether you are in the room or not. A share of a business. An asset that can dollars. A product made once and sold many times. At a beginner stage, this is not a boardroom. It is a small holding in a fund that owns a slice of hundreds of real companies. It is a skill turned into something that sells without you. It starts laughably small, and it is still the only kind that does not desert you. This is not a theory for people who already have money. It is the record of people who never did. Ronald Read pumped petrol and swept floors in Vermont his whole life. When he died in 2014, he left $8 million, built by living below the signal and owning dividend-paying shares for decades. Grace Groner, a secretary, bought 3 shares of one company in 1935 and reinvested the dividends for the rest of her life. She left $7 million. Anne Scheiber, an auditor on a modest government salary, turned a few $1,000s into $22 million by owning and almost never selling. Not one of them earned a large income. Every one of them became an owner. The shift that changes a life is the slow movement of your money from the first kind toward the third. By taking the first cut from Rule 1 and using it to buy ownership, long before it feels significant. Poor thinking spends on things that decay. Wealthy thinking owns things that grow while you sleep. You do not become free by renting yourself out at a higher rate. You become free the day a part of your income stops depending on you. A salary is a rented army that deserts you the day you stop. Build arms of your own. The system's sharpest tool is the one that feels like help: debt. Buy now, pay later, the car on finance, the minimum payment on the card. The 0% deal that quietly trains you to finance everything you own. None of it looks dangerous. That is exactly why it works. It is normal. No one questions the person financing a car or swiping for a holiday. They will cheer it on, right up to the moment it closes over your head. Understand who the system profits from. It does not profit when you are wealthy and free. It profits when you owe. Every low monthly payment is engineered to last as long as it possibly can. Every rise in your credit limit is a longer leash sold to you as freedom. It feels like access. It is control. Machiavelli would have called it exactly that. He understood that the surest way to own a man is to make him depend on you. Debt places your future under the command of someone whose entire interest is your dependence. Once your lifestyle runs on borrowed money, you cannot walk away. Not from the job, not from the pressure, not from any of it, because the payments do not stop on the day your patience does. So you starve it. You list every debt that is not building something that pays you back. The mortgage on an asset can stay. The card, the finance lifestyle, the buy now, pay later, those come out, one at a time. Smallest balance or highest interest first, with the same cold discipline you used to pay yourself. Every one you clear is a length of the leash cut away. Every one of those quiet millionaires shared a habit beyond patience. Not one of them carried consumer debt. They owned their cars outright and financed nothing that did not pay them back. A single rule holds the line. If it does not pay you, you do not finance it. You wait, you save, you buy it outright, or you do without. Debt is the system's leash dressed up as a favor. Cut it, or it tightens for life. Near the end of his book, Machiavelli reached for the image everything had been building toward. Fortune, he wrote, is like one of those violent rivers that, when it floods, tears down the trees and the buildings and carries away the earth. Everyone flees before it. No one can resist it. Then he turned the knife. This is true, he said, only where no provision has been made, where men have built embankments and channels in advance. While the weather was calm, the river rises without ruin. The flood comes either way. Preparation decides what it cost you. This is the rule that protects the other six, because you will not always be disciplined. Some month you will be tired, or bored, or convinced you have earned a reward. Motivation is weather. It comes and it goes, and you cannot stand on it. So you build the structure while the weather is calm, and you let the structure hold the line on the days you cannot. You make the first cut automatic, so it leaves before you can feel it go. You move your savings into a second account with no card and no app, behind enough friction that a tired Thursday cannot reach it. Out of sight becomes out of mind, becomes still there a year later. You set the investment to buy itself on the same day each month, with no decision required. You build the embankments once, in a clear hour, so the flood of a weak moment rises without carrying your progress away. This is the difference between willpower and wealth. Willpower fails because it is human, and humans are weather. A structure built in a calm hour does not fail because it does not depend on how you feel. The machine that was built to drain you runs on automation, so you build one that runs the other way. The economists Richard Thaler and Shlomo Benartzi proved how much this matters. They built a program called Save More Tomorrow that raised people's savings automatically, with no willpower asked of them, and savings climbed where decades of good advice had failed. The structure did what motivation could not. Design it once, let it run. The flood is coming either way. Fortify in the calm hour and the weak moment cannot cost you everything. So there are the 7. Pay yourself first. Track every dollar. Live below the signal. Use rich math. Build arms of your own. Kill the debt traps. And fortify before the flood. Now go back to the tightrope from the start. The month that comes in and is gone before you breathe. You can see now what was really happening on it. You were not failing to walk it. You were carrying someone else across. The money came in and the system took its share first. Through the signal, the quiet leaks, the easy debt, the rented income, and the absence of any structure to hold the line. The tightrope was never a test of your balance. It was a design, and you were standing on the wrong end of it. None of that was a verdict on you. It was a system you were placed inside, without ever being handed the map. The weight of seeing it clearly is real. The one thing that makes the weight bearable is that a design can be redrawn. And from tonight, you are the one holding the pen. You have just spent 20 minutes looking straight at the machine that keeps an ordinary income ordinary for life. That is work almost no one does. It has lost a little of its grip on you tonight, for the simple reason that you turned and saw it. What you build on the other side of that is the only thing left that is yours alone to decide. If this gave you a sharper way to see your own money, subscribe and stay for the next one.